Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Community Church. We are a welcoming congregation where we strive to transform ourselves and the world through love, wonder, and connection. My name is Shelley Smith. I use she, her pronouns. I serve on the worship committee and as chair of the nominating committee. Today, in observance of Father's Day, worship leader John Countryman will share two stories about legacies his dad left to him and how both renewed his spirit. Just a reminder before we get started, in case you somehow were not paying attention as you came through the lobby, there's a lot of food out there. Today is our Baker's Dozen, and our cooks and bakers have prepared a plethora of sweet and savory treats, so warm up your credit cards and shop. Shop abundantly. By the way, we're trying to hit an all-time high earnings for Baker's Dozen. We can hit $10,000 for the year if you all buy a lot of stuff today. Whether you are here for the first time or the 1,000th time, welcome. This is a place where we try our best to be real with one another, to get through hard things together, and to remind ourselves and one another of the values that ground us and center us, that motivate and move us. Whoever you are, whatever your faith journey, whomever you love, you are welcome here. We welcome all who seek to know the sacred and all who seek to make our world more just. Our commitment is to be together in covenant, to live out our values, and to work together towards our mission. These are what makes a church. These are what make our church. The mission of this church is to transform ourselves and the world through love, wonder, and connection. Please rise in body or in spirit and join me in our affirmation of who this community is, beginning with that all-important word. Love is the message of this church, and service is our way. This is our great covenant together, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Please remain standing if you wish and join in singing our opening hymn, Now Sing We of the Brave of Old, which is number 107 in our gray hardback hymnal.
My name is John Countryman, and I use he, his pronouns. Join me in saying our chalice lighting words as Shelley lights our chalice. The chalice lighting text this morning is from Paul Sprecher. We light this chalice to honor the memory of those who have come before us, kindling flames of wisdom in dark times, willing to change orthodoxy even at great personal risk, giving us a legacy of freedom and love of truth, a legacy that warms our hearts and lights our prayer. Please join me now in a time of meditation and prayer. This is a spoken and silent meditation created by Wayne Aronson, who's affiliated with UUA. We join together now in a time of meditation, spoken at first and then for a time in the peace that silence brings. As we enter into silence, we remember the many connections that sustain and uplift us through this religious community. We remember those who preceded us, whose contributions built a free faith, who built this home for its practice. We remember those around us, whose continuing care and thought and deed is an ongoing blessing in our lives, keeping the dream of free religion alive in our time. We remember those who will follow us, the children presently in our care, and those not yet come to light, who will inherit the work of our hands and hearts. In the silence now, we sit surrounded by these many connections, visible and invisible, that remind us every day that we are not alone. Take a little time now for silent meditation. Peace be with us and with all under the sun.
As we come together every Sunday from our own separate lives and our own separate homes, we bring with us a variety of joys and sorrows, fears and hopes. We take time in our service now to honor these big feelings together. We share this time as a contemplative time, each of us given an opportunity to share within the community what lifts us up and what weighs us down. Today, we will light candles of joy and hope to lift up the bright things in our lives, and we will also place stones to hold our sorrows and fears, to ease the weight from our spirits. In a moment, I will invite you to come participate in this ritual on your own. But first, if you are online today, write the name you would like to have spoken and write stone for a sorrow or candle for a joy. If you would like John to light a candle for your joy, raise your hand. You will be offered an opportunity to come and light the candle yourself if you so choose. So raise your hand if you'd like John to light a candle for you. Porter? Scott? Next, we will do stones. If anyone would like John to place a stone for your sorrow, raise your hand. And again, you will be invited forward if you choose. I see Porter, Gail, Lisa, Anne. It's 4, John. There were 4. Nothing online, Scott, thank you. Anyone who would like to place a stone and or light a candle themselves is welcome to come forward. Please come up the side aisles, this side for stones, this side for candles. Do what you need to do in the middle and then go back down the center aisle. Pat is asking us online to hold up Kathleen, Caroline, and Lauren. We light one final candle for all the joys that remain in our hearts and place a final stone for all the remaining sorrows this morning. Please join in our sung prayer response, There is a Love.
Hi there. My name is Adina Danuf. I use she or they pronouns, and I'm your Director of Lifespan Religious Exploration. And in honor of Father's Day today, I'm going to tell you a story called The Farmer's Legacy, not The Father's Legacy, but it's interchangeable in this case. It's from the UUA's Creating a Home curriculum, and it begins like this. Once there was a farmer. He was very old and ill, and he knew he would soon die. He had lived a good life, and his only regret was that his 3 children fought all the time. Has anyone lived that life? None of them seemed interested in taking care of the large farm the old man had established, and they were rather lazy. The farm was big enough for several farmhouses and produced enough food to easily provide for any families his children might or might not someday start. And the only reason the old farmer had worked so hard his entire life was to leave a legacy to his children so that their life would be easier. Now that his life was near its end, he wanted to find some way to help them see what a precious thing it is to be able to work your own land and provide for your family. So he did. One winter day, the farmer called his children to his sick bed. "My children, I have accumulated great wealth." "Where is this great wealth?" they asked. "You have never seen it, but it exists outside, deep in the fields. That is where you'll find your legacy." A short time after, the farmer died. And his children grieved because they loved their father, and their sadness brought them together, and they stopped fighting. One day, they decided, though, to go looking for that legacy. "He said it was deep in the fields. It must be buried," one said. "We'll need to dig for it," another said. So they dug and dug for days. They dug until they had dug up almost all of the farmland, but they found nothing. One sibling said, "Well, we've already dug up all this land, but we haven't found our legacy. We must have missed it, and I'm too tired to keep digging. Still, it's springtime, and we should plant the crops. We've already dug up the earth. Let's plant the field." So they did. And fall came, and after harvesting their crops, they set to digging again, looking for that legacy. They dug and dug for days, and they dug until once again they had dug up almost the entire farmland and found nothing. One sibling said, "Well, shucks, we've dug up the land and we haven't found our legacy. We missed it again. I'm too tired to keep digging, but it's springtime and time to plant the crops. Since we've already dug it up, we might as well plant like we did last year." So they did. And yet again, fall came, and they harvested their crops. And this year's harvest was even bigger and better than the year before. And after the harvest, they dug for their legacy, and they didn't find it again, and they planted the crops. And this continued for a few years, like probably too many years. And during that time, they got married and they started families and they lived comfortable lives off the money from selling the crops. And they grew strong from working in the fields, and they were no longer lazy. They were healthy and happy. And one spring, finally, all 3 at the same time, it took way too long, they realized that the rich land of the farm and being able to provide for themselves and their families was their true legacy that their father had left them. It took a little while, but they got it, right? That's life lessons for you. They stopped digging for treasure, and they started working the farm. They were happy that their father had been wise enough to leave them this great gift. They decided they would all share the land and take good care of it so they could leave it to their children someday. And so they did. Now, it's true that everyone doesn't own farmland to leave to their children, right? But every parent leaves something, a legacy, to their children. It might be a house, but it could also be a value, like hard work. It might be a beautiful necklace, but it could be a belief or religion, like Unitarian Universalism. The legacy might be a favorite book, but it could also be photographs and memories of special times. We honor today that we might be thinking about legacies that were given to us or legacies that we are leaving. And we take time to thank and celebrate fatherly people in our lives, and that could be anyone because of all that they do and all that they are, and because of their legacy. And like many parents and fathers as you use, we hope to leave a legacy of love. So let us continue building that legacy in all that we do. Let's head to class.
It's May of 1966. I'm sitting in the front passenger seat of my dad's Jeep Wagoneer. We're on our way to pick up my brother Bill from his college in Vermont, which has just let out, and shuttle him across the state to his summer job at a state park on Lake Champlain. I'm excited about getting to the lake because Dad and I will spend a few days there before returning home. I'm not excited, however, about our stop on the college campus to collect my brother. I have my reasons. 3 months earlier, I'm once again a passenger in the Wagoneer. This time, Dad and I are driving to the local landfill, accompanied by music to go to the dump by on the local radio station. He's brought up the topic of my own application to college. I've told him that will be unnecessary and pointless. For one thing, I will be graduating at the bottom of my high school class because my grades have been so abysmal. Not to mention that it's already too late to apply for the fall. I'd like to dump this conversation at the landfill with the rest of the trash. Anyway, I have other plans. I'm going to be a famous actor. I've just been cast in the lead in our senior play. When Dad comes to the performance, he'll understand. Next stop, Broadway. Then on to Los Angeles to appear in blockbuster feature films. Well, Dad says, you might want to have a backup plan. No point, I say. Humor me, he says. Now that we're on our way to Brother Bill's campus, I know how that played out. Begrudgingly, I applied to the very campus we're about to visit. And as I predicted, they turned me down. The sooner we collect Bill and get on the road to the lake, the better. Bill's dorm is in the largest building on campus, one that not only houses some students, but also some faculty and administration offices and the campus bookstore. Sure, maybe they'll have a book of play scripts I can buy, to reinforce my career plans. As we're leaving the bookstore, Dad says, I need to pop in here for a second. The office of the college president? Huh? Uh-oh. My brother must have messed up somehow. This should be interesting. The president ushers us into the office and invites us to sit down. Dr. Long, Dad says, this is my son, John. His brother is a student here. How can I help? The president asks. Well, here's the thing. John applied to the college himself recently, and as you may know, he was turned down. No surprise, of course, because his high school grades were very poor. My mind is racing. What? I thought this was a meeting about my brother, not me. I'm sorry to hear that, the president says. But you see, Dr. Long, my father continues, I know my son. I know what he's capable of. He's smart, he's creative, and when he puts his mind to something, he excels. I know I'm biased, but I'm a professor myself at your neighboring college, and I'm here to ask if you'll reconsider. John has other plans, but something tells me he could perhaps meet some of his goals right here in the college drama program. I just saw him in his senior play, and he was terrific. Okay, what? If I wipe my tears away quickly, perhaps the prez won't notice? For a moment, Dr. Long is speechless. Then I'm speechless when I hear her say, all right, let's give him a chance to prove you right. I'll speak to admissions. Dad says, what do you think, son? I think, yes, let me give it a try. In an instant, my life is changed forever. In a memorable 15-minute meeting, Dad launches a legacy neither he nor I could anticipate and transforms my life, graduating second in my undergraduate class, then on to graduate school to complete master's and PhD degrees, and to become a professor myself. A theater professor. Thanks, Dad.
Please join me in our offering and acknowledging all the ways we give to this church and this world. We give because this is our church and we value what it does for us, to us, and through us, to our community and our world. May there be an offering to sustain and grow the life and mission of this church, inside and outside our walls. May we give in love and in hope. Thank you for your offering and all the ways you give to our life and ministry with your time, talent, treasure, and trust. We especially thank the UCC hikers for their love offering in honor of Sarah Long. Together, our gifts allow us to expand and strengthen the tapestry of love, wonder, and connection that blesses this church and transforms us and our world. Our reading this morning is Renewal in a Weary World by Sherry Woodbury. It is a responsive reading, so your part should come up there. Or not.
No slides. You can read.
Oh, how about this? I'll read your part and my part. Welcome, all who seek renewal in a weary world. Welcome all who come with love and energy to share. Welcome to those who worry for the future. Welcome each one who is grateful for today. Know that in this place, you are not alone. In community, we share our strength with one another, and we keep the flame of love burning bright. Know that in this place, responsibility is shared. Here, tradition holds us, ancestors shine a light from the past. Here, young lift up their bright faces and beckon us onward. Take my hand and we can go on together. We found it. Somebody should have told me.
It's June of 2005. I'm looking for a pair of pants in the 200-year-old house in Vermont where I grew up. They're not the tattered and dirt-stained pants my dad was wearing when he suffered a heart attack and was carried away in the ambulance. No, those pants were returned to us with his other personal items after he'd passed away in transit to the hospital. Those pants, I discovered, had empty pockets. No, the pants I was looking for were the ones he'd changed out of to get down on his hands and knees and dig up peony rhizomes from the plot below the house. I expected the pants he'd changed out of would be where I would find his wallet. That's what I was really looking for, the wallet containing his insurance cards and credit cards. It takes me a week to find those pants because my dad was a hoarder. My mother tells me, good luck finding anything in all that crap, crud, and corruption. Yeah, she really says that. That gives you an idea how much stuff I've had to rummage through to find the pants containing the wallet, which I do at last on top of an old upright piano that had only been played a few times when my cousin Steve visited us in 1956. What I find first, and for the umpteenth time, were all the projects my dad had begun and left unfinished in the 54 years my parents had lived in the house. Everything from an indoor greenhouse to woodworking to leather crafting to language learning, Mandarin Chinese no less, and many other treasured schemes and enterprises he'd thrown his heart into until he didn't. As I share this memory with you, I'm right back there amid the chaos and clutter, grieving his demise and cursing a man no longer able to defend himself. The man who left so many projects unfinished because, well, he couldn't die, right? He still had so many things left to do. But here's the thing. As I stand looking at the holy mess before me, it all begins to take on another meaning altogether. It comes to represent my dad's insatiable curiosity and inextinguishable willingness to try new things. It comes to represent his zest for life, a life he'd filled with one adventure after another, a life filled with wonder. The clutter and disorder are alive with promise and possibility. Yes, perhaps he was subconsciously engaged in a futile attempt to cheat death. but he'd done so because life had so much to offer. Question: what is a legacy? On Friday, I couldn't find my wallet. I was desperate because I couldn't drive to work without it, and I was already running late. Trust me, I went through every pair of pants I'd worn this week without success. They were all draped carelessly across an ironing board in our bedroom that serves as a makeshift valet. I'd failed to empty the pockets of at least one item in each pair, but no wallet. I scoured every room in the house, and in nearly every room I tripped over a pile of my books. My books about Irish drama and film, folklore books, books about stained glass, books about landscapes, books about remote islands. Yep, I'm my father's son. Every pile represents a project I have yet to finish. I finally found my wallet, too. It was resting on top of one of those piles of books. What is renewal? The gift of a legacy is the gift of renewal of self and a renewal of meaning in the hearts, hands, and minds of the fortunate beneficiaries. I'm not talking about property now or financial inheritance. I'm talking about values, traditions, and heritage. By reflecting on our legacy, we renew our consideration of why we are here in the first place. We do so by communicating first with ourselves and considering what meaning our lives had and will have. But we can also communicate our legacy intentions to build connections, influence others positively, and gain personal insights. We contribute both to our own well-being and that of others. You'll leave a legacy, for better or worse, even if you don't set out to do so deliberately. By reflecting on your legacy story, you renew your own sense of purpose in life and make a lasting impression on others at the same time. By being intentional about the form your legacy will take, you renew your own zest for life and become more considerate about the contributions you can make to the world by your example. You also influence the thoughts or actions of those you care most about. Without necessarily setting out to do so, each of us leaves a legacy. What legacy will you leave? Please rise in body or in spirit for our closing hymn, number 128, For All That Is Our Life, in the hardback gray hymnal. In preparation for our closing, let us reach out to each other in whatever way we feel comfortable. When you go, go mindful of the legacy that you will leave. When you go, go in peace.
Salam and shalom. Leave this place knowing that you are good and knowing that you are loved.
Blessed be. Take your light and your dark and your love from this place. Share them with the world and stay safe until we meet again. Amen.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy coffee hour and Baker's Dozen.
Buy large quantities of food.
Buy large quantities of food.